Hey YouTube, I wanted to redo my Skeptic Bible study on rape in the Bible, but I really wanted to dedicate it to Theologica for one of the videos that he made trying to articulate Christian morality to me and correct me in one of the arguments that I had made. Apparently I'd made this silly argument that when Christians say they believe in an objective standard of morality and then proceed to defer all of their moral judgments to their imaginary God, that how is that any different from a group of people saying they believe in objective morality because a hypothetical dictator, Big Brother, determines all the morals? This is not an objective standard of morality. This is simply a subjective standard of morality where you're surrendering your judgment to somebody else. But he really set me straight on a video that is just absolutely classic. I'm going to play the audio of that video right now, but I want to emphasize that the image is of mine. And I just want everyone to really fully appreciate the symmetrical, what's the word for it, the nature of his argument that's perfectly round. Anyway, I'll go ahead and play that for you right now.
So, John, God does not decide what goodness is, nor ever contemplated the issue. God, in his absolute and transcendent nature, is. Good is the nature of him, and naturally that which lacks his spirit, evil. That which is non-good we call evil. When you say that if Big Brother thinks things are immoral, the statement comes across as if you do not have the most, even the fundamental understanding of the concepts of Christian theism. Similarly, God does not arbitrarily make up a bunch of rules. The concept of goodness and being good was never made up, but is him, and he transcends physical reality. By his grace and spirit, we are able to interpret this goodness, for he has given us a soul, a mind, a conscience. See Hebrews 5:14.
I swear, there's something about this that's almost beautiful. You just can't make this stuff up. It's the juxtaposition of this pompous, self-congratulating demeanor on the one hand versus this almost caveman-like reasoning on the other. You no understand. Me God not bad. Me God good. Oh, well, I'm so glad you cleared that one up for me, Theologica. While you're at it, could you please clear up for me where your God, the epitome of goodness, stands on the issue of rape? I'm sure we can agree that rape is a no-brainer moral issue here. I mean, it is absolutely wrong under every possible condition, and we should expect that any good God would condemn it, right? Well, let's hear how the principal prophet in the Old Testament of this epitome of goodness has to deal with this issue here in Numbers chapter 31, verse 7. And they warred against the Midianites as the Lord commanded Moses, and they slew all the males. Fast forward to verse number 14. And Moses was wroth with the officers of the host, with the captains over thousands, and the captains over hundreds, which came from the battle. And Moses said unto them, Have ye saved all the women alive? Behold, these caused the children of Israel through the counsel of Balaam to commit trespass against the Lord in the manner of Peor. And there was a plague among the congregation of the Lord. Now therefore, kill every male among the little ones, and kill every woman that hath known a man by lying with them. But all the women children that have not known a man by lying with him, keep alive for yourselves. To punctuate this verse, I'd like to show an image from Brendan Powell Smith's The Brick Testament. I hope he doesn't mind. Now, in case you try to argue that this was Moses, not Yahweh speaking, Yahweh makes his rules for war very clear in Deuteronomy chapter 20, verse 13. And when the Lord thy God hath delivered it, a city, into thine hands, thou shalt smite every male thereof with the edge of the sword. But the women, and the little ones, and the cattle, and all that is in the city, even all the spoil thereof, shalt thou take unto thyself. And what were you supposed to do with all these female captives? Yahweh makes that clear in the next chapter, chapter 21, verse 10. When thou goest to war against thine enemies, and the Lord God hath delivered them into thine hands, and thou hast taken them captive, and seest among the captives a beautiful woman, and hath a desire unto her, and thou wouldst have her as thy wife, then shalt thou bring her to thine house, and she shall shave her head and pare her nails, and she shall put the remnant of her captivity from off her, and shall remain in thy house, and bewail her father and her mother for a full month. And after that thou shalt go into her, and be her husband, and she shall be thy wife. And it shall be, that if thou hast no delight in her, then it shall be that thou shalt let her go whither she will. But thou shalt not sell her at all for money. Thou shalt not make merchandise of her, because thou hast humbled her. So translation, if you don't enjoy raping your sex slaves, you have to let them go. You can't just simply sell them. I suppose Yahweh considered that to be progressive, but frankly, I'm not impressed. Now, apparently, all these rules for war were taken to heart, if this book is to be believed, as an account of the swath of destruction that Moses and Joshua cut on their way to the Promised Land, and further atrocities that were committed after their kingdom was established, all the genocide and rape and slavery. I'm going to try to scroll by some verses of the Bible that detail some of these atrocities. And how does Yahweh deal with the issue if a man rapes a virgin woman who is not betrothed? Well, the punishment is he has to marry her, and apparently she has to marry him. The next chapter in Deuteronomy, chapter 22, verse 28. If a man find a damsel that is a virgin which is not betrothed, and he lay hold on her and lie with her, and they be found, then the man that lay with her shall give unto the damsel's father 50 shekels of silver, and she shall be his wife, because he hath humbled her, and he may not put her away all of his days. And apparently she has no say in the matter either. You know, rape is an underreported crime these days, they say. And I can only imagine just how underreported it was with these laws that were apparently prescribed by what you, Theologica, describe as the very epitome of goodness in the universe. You know, you mentioned the human conscience, and C.S. Lewis had a similar argument that our conscience proves the existence of your God. I'm just curious as to what you would offer as an explanation for why my very conscience finds this book to be so morally repugnant. If you could get back to me, I'm sure your explanation is going to be just as classic as the video that I'm responding to.